Hey, this is Rob Zombie, and you're watching Loudwire.
And a lot of these songs, you're repeating phrases like, electric warlock. I'm wondering, when you're coming up with this stuff, are you kind of just like wandering around your house? You get like these names of creatures stuck in your head, and they just repeat in your brain until you just put it out there?
I mean, really, the way it happens is once the process starts, I never come up with anything if I don't think we're making a record.
Okay.
I never write down anything. I don't even think about it. But when I know it's time to make a record, I start thinking. I'm always thinking, and things will just pop into my head, phrases, ideas, and I'll just write them all down, and the pages start getting filled and filled as time goes on. So it's just really the way it goes. I don't even know where things will come. Maybe I'll be reading a book and I'll go, what a cool phrase, or see something. If you take that title and monkey it around, that'll be really interesting. It just comes from everywhere, and then I just start keeping a log of everything.
A lot of people are always talking about your influence of horror when it comes to your music, but I think one thing that not enough people talk about is the influence of Americana into your music. Can you speak to how like that classic Americana type of influence plays into your music?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that was a big thing. I mean, because I feel like I was just such the classic 70s Americana kid, the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Totally that kid that was like raised by television, and you wish your parents were Farrah Fawcett and Evel Knievel. that kid
Yeah.
is so who I am. You know what I mean? And that and just such a product of that. And it's not just like horror movies; it's everything, because TV and movies were just, the 70s was a really bizarre time, and it's all. It just, I think that was when TV really became, if it was on TV, it was everything in the world.
Yeah.
Now, everything's on TV all the time, no one even pays attention, but, we're like, Evel Knievel jumping Snake River Canyon was everything.
You gotta
At that
tune
moment,
in.
we all had to stop and, watch Wild World of Sports or whatever. But yeah, no, there's always a big Americana thing to everything, to the record, yeah.
So 31 is finally going to see a wide release in September, I believe.
Yeah, September 16th. I always get confused. 16th or 19th. I think
Okay.
it's the 16th.
I know that you had to fight very hard to get an R rating for the theatrical release. I imagine it must be extremely frustrating to have to sort of compromise part of your artistic vision in order just to satisfy a group for a rating.
Well, it's frustrating for several reasons. I mean, it's always been the case. I've had to do that on every movie. Some movies harder than others.
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects was probably the hardest one. But the thing that drives me crazy is the rating system's sort of outdated, I think, because it doesn't apply to television. So you could literally have something on Game of Thrones that you can't have in an R-rated movie.
That's
So
true.
it's sort of become, like when TV was just network TV and movies are movies, there was a big distinction between Taxi Driver and Happy Days. But now that there's so much stuff on TV, like Walking Dead probably wouldn't get an R rating.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. So that makes it feel outdated on one level. But the other thing that drives me crazy is you're editing content for adults.
Yeah.
Like one adult is telling another adult, I think that's a little too much for you. We're going to have to tone it down.
Yeah, that's odd.
And it's really annoying because it's always ruining the movie at the same time, because it's like horror movies get it the worst usually, or probably like,
Yes.
action movies or any kind of violent movie, because nobody goes, well, your comedy's too funny. We better cut it down. People might laugh too hard. But, when you start getting notes back from the MPA, it's not always just like it's too violent. It's like it's too dark. The tone is too dark. All the things you strive for when you're making it are the exact things they attack. So you're essentially like, oh, so if I make it less intense and less dark, then you'll approve it. But now you've basically said make it less good.
It's kind of a subjective thing, really.
Yeah, it really is, and it's really annoying. And it luckily, the part that is the saving grace is DVD and whatnot, because
Yes.
the theatrical lives for such a brief time that when it goes to DVD, everyone buys the unrated and they get the movie as it should be. But it's just a frustrating process. And it's such a silly process, too. Like, if you in this scene, someone got stabbed 5 times. Can't do that. 3 times is okay, but 5's too much. Like, according to what? The fact that you're watching it in the first place means you probably don't care.
I think America's very tight, like uptight about sex too. Because when
yeah,
you go
big
to
time.
other countries, it's like they're uptight about violence and sex is just everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, other countries they'll have more nudity in an orange juice commercial
Oh my
than
God.
you'll have here. You know, it's like
In England,
really funny.
you'll see tits at like 9 in the morning.
The funniest thing I saw was I was in Argentina and there was an award show on. It was like kind of like their Golden Globes or whatever, and they were showing clips from the movies, and all the clips had like full frontal nudity, like when
Yeah.
they were showing the highlight reel of whatever actor was coming out. I just thought it was fucking hilarious.
Beautiful.
Yeah.